What's up, everybody? I am Lamar Anderson, and I want to welcome you all to another episode, a very, very special episode of Think About It, Black People.
Black people.
We got a very special guest who's going to pull up in the building with us just a little bit later. I'm telling you, this is hip-hop legend. I mean, it's an honor for us to have this particular person on the show. I'm definitely going to get into all of that in just a second. But before I do that, let me introduce my team. All right, first up, I got to introduce my queen. Queen E, go ahead and say what's up to the people.
Hey, everybody. We're just glad to be back in the house with a real queen. I'm feeling that crown, and we're just happy to have you. We miss Michelle. She had to go out of town on some family personal business, but we are so happy to have Suga in the house. So welcome, Suga.
Thanks for having me, Queen. We in this.
And I won't go forget. I won't go forget Michelle. Trust me. My girl Shell, she not here. We got other queens in her place. Definitely gonna put it down here today. Got to introduce my most senior member of the group. I always say he's my most senior member because he turned a certain age before I did, so he's a senior member of the group. My man, Ruddy Rut. What's up, Rut?
What's happening? You know, it has to be the right time all the time when it comes down with it with me.
All right, y'all. Like I said before, you all know that I'm a big hip hop head. I've been in rap groups, DJ, done a lot of different things. So I love hip hop. So when I have the opportunity of talking to somebody in this particular genre, I love it. Like I go crazy, all right? Especially I'm an old school hip hop fan as well. I think there's a place for everything that we do, and that we have to grow with all of this. So my man Rut hooked us up with a very, very special guest who's pulling up in the building with us. So I'm gonna let him go ahead and do the introduction. Go ahead, Rut.
Appreciate it, brother. All right, today we got the boss, the queen of the Bay, none other than the beautiful Suga-T, y'all. How you doing, sis?
Hey.
Hold on.
I'm about to say, Rut, hold on. This is not how we do that. Bro, we gotta bring her out, man. Right. Like we don't play like that around here.
No. Let me say it again. We got the boss queen of the Bay, Suga-T.
Represent.
My sis.
Hey. Be a hoop with it.
Man.
That was fun.
No, that kind of stuff get me hyped.
Able to remember the lyrics.
That kind of stuff get me hyped, man. I love it. I love hip hop. I love real hip hop. So definitely thank you for pulling up. I really want to thank you.
I appreciate you coming on the show, T, man. It was a luxury working with you. If y'all didn't know, you know, Ruddy Rutt produced that song for the Queen, you know.
Yes.
So I had to represent for the Bay when I was out West Coast, you know what I'm saying? So let's get this interview started.
Man, let's get it started.
Thank you, Ruddy Rutt. You gave me something good to work with.
Already.
So I'm going to hit with the first question, if you all don't mind, mainly because, like I said, I'm an old school hip hop head. I think there is a place for female hip hop artists, amazing old school female hip hop artists. I don't even call them old school female hip hop artists, mainly because I think we're one of the few genres in terms of hip hop who don't relish in our people who have come, you know, before this new era. Like we want to put people out to pasture and rock and roll and all of these other genres. They putting these people on pedestals. I think we should be doing the same. So
we need to be the same.
So what I want to ask, you know, Suga-T, is what do you feel why do you feel it's relevant for someone of your genre, of your age, who a pioneer, legend in this whole game, to continue to keep doing what you're doing?
Right, that's a very good question. You know what? I just want to say, and make it very clear. We don't have to find a space. We created the space. People
That's
like me created the space. You feel me? So because we are the creators, and me specifically, one of the first generation creators, first trap chick in the Bay, who moved around and had the whole element of what is still going on 30 years later after sowing that seed and having a very successful long career, 36 years, which is what I'm celebrating. To stick around, you know what I mean? And don't let people move you out the box, because that's what it seems like the programming has become.
Gotcha.
And so, we got to stay present. And I know a lot of people don't have the means to stay present, because people like us, when we get older, we have other things to do too, other responsibilities, other desires, other gifts, other talents that we use, other responsibilities, different things that come up that we have to make a priority, which is very important, because that's what having a well-rounded life is about,
That's right.
especially when we're not robots, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But we got to come back, and let them know, hey, let's be clear. I'm not gone. I just am not prioritizing this. And people
Gotcha.
get it twisted as if you can't, hang with the movement because they don't see you. So every now and then you do got to step on the scene and let them know what time it is. You got to wear
You
your
better
home
tell
hat.
them.
You know what I mean?
That's
You
right.
better
You better tell them.
And I think it's so important that the younger generation give kudos to the older generation, because had it not been for the MC Lights, the Queen Latifahs, they really wouldn't exist today. So I love when I see them paying homage to the youths who came before them. And I guess a question for me to you is, Jay-Z and all of the men, they've been in it forever, and people don't ever say anything about when the men are still out in the game, or they fall out and they come back. So being a woman in a male-dominated world, how has that been for you in hip hop?
Yeah, that's a really good question. First of all, Queen, I never even hear any of the young generation giving us any props. I haven't heard it yet. I'd like to see it. That would really be helpful. I pretty much see them more so trying to take our space and feeling like they're going to smash us out the box. They don't seem to want to team up with us or, respect the game. They seem to try to take our crowns. And I think that's pretty terrible. And the sad part is most of them don't last. They crash and burn because of it. So, and the health and wellness, I've always had some sort of a concern how they're going to be able to last by living real life in reality, along with, dealing with this music and entertainment business life. Because it ain't, it's not easy. It ain't just jumping on the stage, just energy that come with this stuff they're doing that comes back to you when, when you put a certain amount of energy out there. So, so I would like to see that. And I'm really looking hard, to see those that do. And when they do, a lot of times they just give props to the more commercialized ones,
Yes.
You know what I mean? We were blessed. I was blessed to be an executive producer. So I came in the game as a boss. I was coached in our record label. My brothers, E40, D-Shot, my cousin Be Legit, they made sure that I understand the music business. Hold
on. Cause I don't want to stop you there. We need to pause and put a pin right in there, because I need y'all to understand. She just gave y'all some real hip hop history right there that you need to check on. Okay. That's the click. For those who don't know, you understand, that's the click she just broke down there to y'all, who is another thing that y'all need to research about. All right. So I didn't want to just bypass that, and she just dropped that gem on y'all, and those names were just some regular people who stay next door to y'all. They not. Yeah. These hip hop legends as well. So I just wanted to make sure we put a pin in that. All right. I apologize. Just continue, sis.
And her brother is still doing his thing to this day.
All of them, yes. Be Legit, D-Shot, we still pumping. The Click, we just don't put out a whole bunch of singles, but we still moving. You can find our latest single by the Click on Be Legit. My brother 40 and Be Legit's latest album together, and then we have a group Click song also on What Are the Chances, which is one of my brother's latest movies called What Are the Chances.
And let me just tell y'all, I'm tired of being stepped on. Whew. And then
I'm tired of being stepped on.
I already know. And then I'm gonna tell you, I actually went to college with what I believe is probably your biggest fan. I had to hear Sprinkle Me, Sprinkle Me every day when I was in college by a guy named Rodney, who I believe has to be your biggest fan. Like every day he played the song. So I just want to
Is that right? That's what's up. Yeah, well, thank you for the longevity. You had good taste. You was ahead of the game because it's the same. You know, it was one of the trailblazing, movements that started, but with the solution, solution-based presence. I think more so is a difference. So just to answer the Queen's question, when it comes to the male chauvinism, um, it's a lot of different moving pieces to it. And it definitely is a separation, which is why I'm having this conversation to hip hop matriarch this movement, because obviously the men, they help instigate that as well, only because they don't help fix it.
Right.
So they've made this business where over the years, where you, if you're not heard or seen, then people just tend to assume something different only because someone else has some presence at that time, another female artist. And then the instigation of the media and those behind it, and those with different agendas, you utilize the opportunity to work their agenda by making them appear to be the ones who created the movement. And then they reach the I don't want to call them ignorant, but the young generation who just came in the game, and the also unfortunately ignorant ones that don't do any research and that just assume somebody just pops up and then no one else was behind it, or there's nothing else first that influenced that. You know what I mean? So they don't help fix that because they've made this into a, if you're not being a boy, acting like a boy, or acting like a hoe, basically,
Right.
the elders in the game has not gotten behind us to support us. They got older, to help us stay afloat and make these young people, young ladies, be clear and respect us, by not adding to the fire. You know what I mean? Meaning that if they were more not so afraid of us when we become women, when we have a voice, not so busy trying to control us and, keep us in our place, or hurry up and wait, and not so busy judging us and learn us versus not learn us and just assume that, as well as them not being so fearful, that if they get behind us, oh my God, then it's not going to work, and it's not going to work for them. So I'm looking for them to mature, and I'm looking for them. I give them a proportion of responsibility, because these young ladies that do come up under them, they should be making them respect us. You know what I mean?
So I'm sorry, go ahead, E.
I talk about that all the time because whenever a queen or a woman is uplifted in a community, they raise up everyone with them. But when they have to compete, and that's what the industry has caused, because I say all the time, come on, Nikki, you know that you need to give homage to Little Kim.
Right.
She and I think it's so important just that we lift up Black women, because that's in every area right now, that when Black women get money, they pull up others with them. But a lot of times when you have to compete with each other, you learn to hate each other and tear each other down. And none of us grow at that level.
And I think you helped me to ask this next question, and I'm glad you brought that up, E, is that when your era of hip hop, your class of hip hop that came in, like female rappers, even though, y'all was trying to be that one on the mic, collaborated with each other, big up each other, collaborated with each other, all of the above, pulled each other up. So could you talk a little bit about what do you think is the difference between like your era of hip hop and, what's currently going on in the state of females in hip hop at this time?
Sure. So,
And you ain't got to say nobody's name.
Oh, no, I wasn't. I mean, everybody's situation is different. So, each circumstance is not a cookie cutter, outcome or a cookie cutter foundation of what happened. So I'm just really speaking from a general standpoint. You know what I mean? Because it's just so intricate and everybody's situation is different. Today I've been able to make 20 albums, over the past 30 years because I produce and run my own movement, my own record label, my own everything. I don't care if I sell five units or 500 units or 5 million units. At the end of the day, I feel that I've already sowed a great seed with multiple gold and platinums that I've already proved my point. So I'm not in a race,
Gotcha.
And I have been totally afraid to depend on the music business. I would never, ever, ever depend on the music business only, but what I do step in it as is someone needs to get a balance on this because it's causing, this is curse carrying behavior, and it's literally causing, problems in the communities. It's showcasing a level of energy that resonates to the commonplace. So as a grandmother of 6, I have grandchildren. My oldest grandchildren are almost 12. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So my grandkids are almost teenagers, and I have them from 6 months on out. 6 months on out to almost 12 years old.
Then that's how y'all know she's a grandma, though. You see the count? You see that? I'm sorry.
Proud grandma, one of the baddest grandmas you will ever come.
I know she did that countdown.
Run up on me. Check it out. Run up on me, you will get knocked out.
Right.
Okay, I'm in good shape. You know what I mean? When it comes to spitting on the mic, rock with a nigga. You know what I mean? My track record. I was one of the first ones, and it ain't stopped. I just choose not to always talk about one subject matter because it's way more that I know than just sex, money, alcohol, drugs, violence, and stripping. You know what I mean? So sometimes I gotta step back and be like, "Come on, y'all gotta come with something else now."
Fine, girl.
You know what I mean? Check it out. Outbrain me. I'm holding multiple credentials and degrees. You know what I mean? And I hold my own at the end of the day. So, and then don't go in the kitchen with me. You feel me? Because I know how to hold on to the movement. You know what I mean? Keep my surroundings right. So, I'm a proud grandma. You know what I mean? I'm one of them competing them grandmas, and I have a grandmother's club, a young grandmother's club. And I'm one of them that's like, I'm not letting the youngsters put me out of work. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm trying to let the other ones level up with me. That's why I started the club, because that's the goal. That's what has become of society. I'm 5 decades in. I love my age. They think we're old, because the older generation of grandmothers thought they were old. You know what I mean? They literally thought they were old. Now that I think about it, when we really weren't old. So, we have to stop this conditioning, this old school conditioning of trying to retire people early, you know what I mean, and kill people early. And that is what the industry does when they get in the way of the mature females, and they don't help support us. I'm not saying there's not any need for the younger generation of females. Great, y'all do y'all thing. You know what I mean? Y'all rep that strip thing, y'all rep that part of it, but that's not all we are in hip hop. We're a lot more than just sex, money, alcohol, drugs, stripping, and violence. You know what I mean? And bragging on ourselves all the time. To me, when you brag on yourself all the time, that means you don't think you that much, Now, so unfortunately, because of the competitive mindset and of females just in general, you know what I mean? And especially the younger ones, and the fact that, that leads into community involvement, and real families have to kind of suffer from this mentality because it literally affects the human mentality and development of how they act towards their peers in their environment at home. And because I'm African American, and this is Black Matters that I'm all involved in, this is what matters to me as a Black matter. Not just only when people are killed on the streets, you know what I mean, by unfair acts, but by this type of behavior where we're doing this amongst one another.
That's right. We talk about that all the time.
Economic blockage in our environment, you know what I mean? And the closing point is this is systematic racism.
It is.
And I'm addressing it and having this conversation because it's not healthy, it's not fair, and people they will erase our history if we let them. That's why I wrote a song called Truth. You know what I mean? And lastly, when it comes to retiring us early, the mindset, these people need to grow up and grow out of this mindset. And I'm really disappointed with the elder generation of men that have been in this game and have not supported us. Sometimes you got to put your ego, your penis, you know what I mean, your pride, all that in the back and say, you know what? You got to think mature and say, let me move generation wealth through my community. Let me
That's right.
move generation wealth through my race. Let me move generation wealth through my industry of where I know we're dominating the influence to others so that we can have a good balance in this thing, and everyone can be represented. Everybody can have a chance of being healthy and having healthy outcomes, from their life, mind, body, spirit, and soul. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're leveling into an element of mental health outcomes and the breakage of families and respect and appreciation and economic empowerment. And you're adding to the oppressive behavior, you know what I mean, that's out there. And it's not a healthy thing.
I hope y'all came to eat today, because she just fed y'all a whole lot. I hope y'all came to eat.
That's
For real.
right.
I'm sorry, Ruck. Go ahead, man.
Well, T, let me ask you this. You consider yourself a what is it? Maraki? How you pronounce that?
Matriarch.
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 And
Yes.
in hip hop, how do you relate that to your music now?
Great question. You know what? That's a good question. So as a matriarch, again, I'm a matriarch in my home, 5 decades in. I have 2 generations behind me. I'm a grandmother of 6, and I live the life of a matriarch. And I love family. I love community, not only from my own family, but I serve other people in general. I serve women. I have an organization that I've been executive director from and the founder of quite a few years. And my goal is to help women from falling through the cracks. So we have 2 programs, one for women and one for men. And not because we separate demographics in terms of any type of discrimination, but only because men need different things sometimes and women do. And so we have a program called SOS, which is Save Our Sisters, and a program called SOB, which is Save Our Brothers.
Okay.
And that's in our Work It project. Work It Well project is the name of the organization. So, I have a staff of caseworkers. I have a great team of partners and people who can supply the things that are needed in lives of everyone, men and women, whether housing, food, shelter, clothes, employment, information, education, skills building, all these different pieces that are necessary to live and survive in this world, based on people, trying to help stop people from falling through the cracks. And so as a matriarch, because hip hop plays a very large role in what's going on in the activity out here, we mock what we see, unfortunately, and the negative distribution of acting out behavior the massive distribution of negative acting out behavior has been distributed so heavily through media to where, sometimes people got to start all over because they've made bad choices based on their understanding of what reality and truth is and what the real consequences that come from this behavior. So, with the lack of knowledge, the lack of peer influence, as well as positive peer influence, as well as the distribution of this negative acting out behavior, I feel instead of complaining about it and talking about it, you have to do something about it. So I chose, instead of complaining about it and having a problem with it, to be a part of some of the solution and control what I can. So, and I teach others how to do that. We also have another division in my enterprise where we actually and again, just to go back to those services as a matriarch, just the foundation of that organization. And we have multiple programs within that organization as well, different programs that serve different populations and demographics and provide different services for different reasons. We meet people where they are, we're helping them explore what they can become. And our goal is we hope that everybody can, have a chance to be healthy, safe, economically empowered, and inspired. And so, so through that, that's a part of matriarch movement. That's a part of queendom to me.
That's right.
To me, it's not just getting in front and saying, "Hey, I'm the queen. Look at me. I'm so cute, and I got a big butt and a big breast." And, that's good, but it take a whole lot more to queen up, boo. You feel? And so I made a song called Queen Up, on my new album, and which I love it. It goes, well, yo, don't trick, baby girl, get a grip. It's a whole lot more for you to do than strip. You a queen. Queens do they thing. And the super bad queen up with a king, work your way to more than enough. It's gonna always be rough, but you gotta stay tough. Get in and get out, but don't stay. You're better than a hoe, and that's real game. I can say it because I know all about it. I'm only saying because I care about you, sis. I understand. I done took a mini risk. Don't wait too late to get a grip. You're trying to go the fast way, the fast money, but fast life will make you fall on your face. Get in and get out, but don't stay. You're better than a hoe, and that's real game. But anyway, I forgot the lyrics. But the bottom line is,
hold on. See, I didn't expect that to happen. And I'm telling you, this ain't not scripted. My next question was about, okay, it seemed like you staying like mad busy. You found other areas, to keep moving. I am still so glad that you're still doing what I just heard, being able to spit. That's called spitting, y'all. She just spit some hot lyrics on this one. But those young people tuning in don't know that's what that was. Yeah. So let's talk. Now, if you don't mind, let's talk a little bit about, you had a project come out in October, just dropped, Truth. Let's talk a little bit about, your new project that you got coming out. What's the meaning behind it? And, what can people expect from this queen?
For sure. And so, I want to make sure that we're clear on the follow-up of the matriarch movement. So as a hip hop matriarch, and I promise you I'll get back to that, the other items that I've been able to provide is other platforms of ways to keep people beautiful. And that is through a fragrance and cosmetic company that I started in 2006. And it's sprinkleme.biz is where you can find fragrance, spa, wellness, books, inspirational elements, tools that keep you healthy, that can look good, feel good, and smell great. So at sprinkleme.biz, we're a very unique empowerment fragrance line. We offer economic opportunities, work experience opportunities. We retail, wholesale, distribute. We create other forms of income through our services, and produce products and collections for other people to, make it and monetize. And we're a very unique structured operation. So, when I say matriarch, just making sure that I'm present and being able to provide well-rounded opportunity for people, mind, body, spirit, and soul. And, and there are some other things that are happening. I have a media outlet where, I've a radio launch of a series of radio shows. I have 3 different shows that's actually coming up, and I call this whole movement the Sugar Rush movement. So it's music, motivation, and media. And as a matriarch, having all those things in place under my control, not waiting on nobody to do it, but as a producer that I am, creating it on my own and partnering with others that have like vision where we can support one another and we can implement it and have a consistent presence is, stepping in it a little bit more and, showing that women can work together. If I can't work with the women that are my colleagues in this business, because a lot of times they leave me out of conversations, they leave me off of female hot lists, they, greatest of all times, they leave me out of all of that. So all that does is give me fire to say, since y'all want to keep playing with me, I'm just to smash and y'all gonna have to see me now. You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna be silent about it, because that's the problem right now. People are fake. This whole industry has created a fake environment. Everybody fake, full of crap, don't want to say nothing, skin and grin in your face. You go to all these events, you network, you call people. Oh yeah, here, call me. You call them, they play games. They like you got to chase them to do work with them. So making sure that I'm present and clear, that people are very, very clear. All these females who are in the game that don't holler at me and act like they don't want to work with me. I'm not gonna beg them no more. I'm talking about my age group colleagues. See, because I got something for the youngins. They don't know no better. When they grow up, they'll get it. Hopefully they'll listen, they'll learn. I ain't mad at them. Don't do their thing. I'm just saying everybody else be fair and hear from us too. And don't try to make it seem like they are the beginners of this stuff, because they're not, you know what I mean? And it's not, I don't think it's a healthy balance, because there's only one conversation that's coming out of it, and that's dangerous. You know what I mean? Anything that's being spoken and put into the atmosphere and telling people, leading them to the negative consequences. No one talks about the consequences of glorifying sex, money, alcohol, drugs, violence, and stripping. And I know the dangers in it. So having a conversation.
Sugar, Cardi B said that when she put out an album that wasn't about it, she gave props to Radassi, I think is her name. And she said no one listens to
Oh,
her.
Rhapsody.
Rhapsody. She said no one listens to her because she's actually talking about something. And she said like the old school original rappers. So when you hear WAP, she said, I have to make those albums because that's what sells. When I rap about something else, they don't sell. So what's your thoughts on that?
I think it's really sad. And I think it's a cop out. I think it's let me say it like this, because I'm not gonna attack her. This is nothing towards her specifically. I just think she's limited. She doesn't have, obviously, she's not experienced enough to know all the great things that she can capitalize off of. And obviously she's not around a team to tell her. And obviously, because there's so many hustles out here. I mean, I could sit up here and name 50 of them that she can make money off of. You know what I mean? So at one point you got to stand up and you got to say, look, if I'm going to represent this, I'm gonna have to look at myself in the mirror later, like I did. You know what I mean? She's not doing nothing that none of us did. Foxy Brown did it. Lil' Kim, if you look at Foxy Brown, where's she at? You don't even see her. You know what I mean? Who knows what energy came from that? But she's, she did it. You got Trina. Trina's been running the strip clubs, and, I'm not sure how healthy that environment is for her. But, these girls are not creating nothing new, and then you have everybody, the person that brought the most innovation to me was actually Cardi B. I mean, I'm sorry, Nicki Minaj. I'll give it to her because when we was all doing something else, doing other things that we know how to do and that we wanted to do too, you know what I mean? You got a choice to either sit there on stage and run it to the ground and don't know nothing else, don't do nothing else. And that's what your life ends up being. So when you leave here on earth and it's time for you to die, that's all that people will know you for. You can do that if that's what you want to do. But some of us didn't just want to do that. Some of us want to actually have children, have husbands, have a well-rounded experience, learn other things, get education. I have a couple of master's degrees. I have bachelor's degrees, various certifications. I would refuse. You see what I'm saying? I was on welfare from the gate. And when I left welfare, that was like leaving my security. So I was like, I'm just to learn everything because one thing I knew about a welfare check, I was going to get it every month. You feel me? And I knew how much I had to hustle as a 16-year-old mother and 2 at 17. And then I became a young grandmother at 36, immediately making sure that I supported my daughters who were not teen moms. They were in their 20s when they became parents. So, I knew I had to create an environment where I could have my well-rounded experience and connect with times I would never get back. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So my point is saying that I had to look at me in the mirror later. I had to face my children later. Was they going to know me? Was they going to like me? Was they going to be sticking a needle in their arm? Oh, my mom wasn't there, so I hate myself, blaming it on me, because I wasn't there. Was they going to end up living any kind of lifestyle, that many stars, when you really do the math and you look, you say, wow, what happened to their kids, and how she ended up on drugs and how he ended up this type of lifestyle, or she ended up that somebody then raped them, molested them, took advantage of them, gave them some drugs. There's a lack of knowledge thereof that they were not able to get and a lack of connection because of that. So some of us have priorities and you got to step back at one point and be strong and say, at the end of the day, it's going to be me by myself. And it's going to be me in that casket. And I'm going to have to see my maker. And what am I going to tell my maker that I did here on earth at the end? This is all I did was sold drugs, alcohol, because everybody said it. I get what she's saying, because you know what? They told me that for a minute. You know what I mean? I left the game for a second so I can well-round myself and let it be not a priority. And I did a lot of songwriting. I wrote blues and gospel and jazz. I'm a writer. I EDM dance. That's what I do, right? Wow. So you know what I'm saying? So, and I learned to produce and I play instruments. So, I play the guitar and the piano and the drums and the bongos. We grew up in church, playing self-made musicians because my grandparents had a church and we had to survive. We couldn't afford no regular musicians. So, we was on there with our dresses and skirts playing the drums, trying to keep it going. So at the end of the day, when you used to making it happen, it's like, you try to, figure out ways to survive outside of just one. And it's kind of scary that these guys do put them in that position to make them think that, but that's because they don't know the business. You have to, knowledge is your power. You get what I'm saying? And it's obvious that with her saying that, unfortunately, bless her heart, I hope, come see me, Cardi B. Come see me, baby. You know what I mean? Come rock with a sister. At the end of the day, any of you youngins, these chicks out here, they limit it because they don't know much and they don't know the system. And I've been blessed to know it. And that is the blessing my brothers gave to me. My brothers taught me the system. You know what I mean? So even though the system changed, it's no different. It's the same stuff. Be good to people, pick your lane, choose your crowd, find out how to reach that crowd, you know what I mean? And, you know, have some flexibility along the way. And if you only have 50,000 customers a year, honey, I don't, you can go from 10 million customers, going on down to 50,000, you got 50,000 faithfuls, they spend $10 a year, you're going to get $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
Boom.
Exactly.
It's that simple. You get what I'm saying? And normally the real ones is going to want to spend about 50 a year with you, because if you got something else to give them, a concert, they'd be happy to come and hang out, do it up and close. Bam, you got another million. Girl, how much money do y'all need? You know what I mean? It's like, you don't need billions of dollars, first of all. You know, I'd be scared to even be in society with billions of dollars on me. I'll be thinking everywhere I go, somebody gonna kidnap me and follow me home. You feel me?
Exactly.
So, you know, millions is cool. Just get a few millions and be happy and make good decisions. You don't have to live like the Huxtables. You know what I mean? You don't have to go and have homes on islands, and you gotta be strong and be a leader. You know what I'm saying? And these people are young and they're followers, and they have to learn how to lead again. And they're definitely, it's pretty sickening, because later they're the ones that's going to have to pay for what they are missing. So I do, Queen, I feel sorry for those type of women in those type of situations. But at the same time, you know, if people respect their elders and they appreciated women our age and hollered at us, then they could probably get some information. But we're so busy looking at, oh, well, they ain't smashing in a Bentley. Honey, I wouldn't be caught dead in no Bentley. I don't want to be bothered with people staring at me. I drive old schools. I got a 59 Chevy. You know what I mean? I drive old schools, smashing in them, you know what I mean, with clean as Clorox, you know, that go up in value. You get what I'm saying? That's what I like. So, you know, you got to pick and choose your battles. And when these people are younger like that and have limited amount of game around them, I'm talking about real game, big game. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's how they get stuck, you know, in that type of a mindset. And it's obvious that they're limited, you know. So the Sugar Rush movement, that's a part of what we're doing. Music, motivation, and media, and bringing these type of conversations to the forefront is another avenue of my hip hop matriarch, you know, implementing that move. I have 3 shows. I have a video show, because I rep the Bay all day, every day. We slay. Yay. So I got a Bay Area hype video show, all Bay Area video hype, and those who love and rock with the Bay. I have Queen's View, so Queen's View Review, Rap Table Report, you know, and it's a female focus, you know, conversations, you know what I mean? And I have a show called the Suga-T Show, and basically we tell you what Big Mama would have told you. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
So at the end of the day, that's a part of it, having that voice and making sure we're available for the conversations, and not versus not available, so they don't have no excuse not to come holler at me. And
how
so
can somebody stay in touch with all the different things you're doing though, Suga-T?
Well, the Rapidemic album is one place. I think people need to get caught up to history first, and that's what it does on the Rapidemic, which is again the 30th over 30 year 20th album anniversary